What is up, members of my collector corps? It is I, Super Mariozilla, or you can call me Vinny, and today we will be taking a look at the Mezco 1/12 Collective Ultraman. This was teased during a Mezco con and went up for pre-order a few months later. Ultraman is a character we're all too used to coming from Bandai. How will a version fully clothed compare? Well, there's a light-up feature and more accessories as well, so it seemed like a dream come true for Ultraman fans and fans that appreciate the novelty of fabric-clothed figures. However, the MSRP is $120, making it more pricey than the Figure Arts versions. Furthermore, the figure was subject to mass delay as well, so fans would have to wait much later to finally get this figure in hand. Now that he's here, was the wait worth it? Well, get a snack and sit back, and let's see if this is worthy of a spot on your Ultraman shelf. Like most Mezco figures, this uses fabric clothing, and the cloth clothes already work in the figure's favor, because of the tight and baggy-ish look it has, which is how the actor looked in the suit as well. So aesthetically, this is really nice and really accurate, and the colors are very bright and vibrant. The silver and the red are really nice to look at and make Ultraman pop. This figure commands the attention on the shelf not because of how big he is, but because of how good he looks right here. And the sculpt work on the head is spot on. Looks like how he does on the source material. And I love the pattern on the eyes with the crystallized look. I love that. Now, muscle definition cannot be seen due to the nature of the fabric clothing, but that's okay, because it was like that as well on the actual suit. So it works to the figure's benefit. The pattern all over the suit is very clean. I'm impressed with how clean it actually looks. The only issue is the stitching because it can be a bit of an eyesore in some angles and shots. Ultraman is not the only figure to suffer from this problem, but it's still an issue nonetheless, even if it's minor. The suit is really nice, but I really am afraid of how long it'll last if you mess with it and pose it too much. Also, when posing the suit, it does tend to crease. Now, maybe it happened on the actual suit as well, but I sure wouldn't be too happy about creasing my costume. Not the biggest deal if you plan to leave him on the shelf in a vanilla pose, but if you're not a fan of that, sorry to spoil already, but this figure is not for you. Only those that appreciate the novelty of the cloth-clothed aesthetic can enjoy this, especially for characters like Ultraman. It works really well. Almost the most accurate we've seen Ultraman so far. Overall, I think Ultraman looks great since the fabric clothes and it being posed works well to the figure's benefit.
Alright, so everybody knows the drill when it comes to Mezco figures. Your articulation is fairly limited because of the cloth clothing. You don't want to tear it, you don't want to stretch it, you don't want to wrinkle it, you don't want to crease it. So yeah, other than that, his articulation is fine, but this is a figure that's meant to be vanilla posed on the shelf only. Don't even think about leaving him in a dynamic pose for a long time because you're definitely going to ruin the suit. Alright, so let's get started. Head is on, I think, a double ball peg, so he can look this high up. He can look this far down, which is not very far at all, and he can look side to side. And of course, there is a bit of lean. Pretty cool. Arms are on slight ball joints. There's some butterfly joint movement. Oops, I turned on the lights by accident. He can also move the arms up. And you can turn the suit to prevent some wrinklage. So that's how far up the suit can go for the arms. And shoulders, he can go just about 90 degrees. Biceps can swivel. Double hinged elbows, they could go pretty much all the way. And hands are on swivel hinges. We have a ball joint here and here in the torso, so he could crunch forward just about this far, which is pretty decent. And he could crunch backward just about this far, which is really good. And of course, he could rotate. Legs. He can kick forward just about this far, which is just about 90 degrees. He can kick backward, not very far at all. In terms of splits, he can almost do the splits, just almost, but as you can see, there's a lot of pressure being put on the crotch region of the suit, so don't even think about it. Thighs can swivel. Double hinged in knees, which can go pretty much all the way. And ankles are on double ball pegs, so he can kick his ankles back just about this far, forward just about this far, which is really good. And ankle rocker is pretty decent. So, it is possible to get Ultraman in plenty of poses. But you have to be mindful of the suit. You can't leave him in a dynamic pose for a long time, otherwise you're gonna really ruin the suit. Now, it's the problem with the material. You know, it's easily creasable and can easily be ruined if left in a pose for a long time. It's the nature of the material, and it's the nature of Mezco's, which is why Mezco is not exactly for everybody, so your tastes in articulation may vary. This is a figure that should be posed for photos only. Being put on the shelf should only be for vanilla poses. So with that being said, his articulation is pretty good. It is not bad at all. It's just that, you know, only pose him for photos, and that's it.
Ultraman has a light up feature. His face can come off, revealing the battery compartment. Stick the batteries in, put the faceplate back on, and hit a button hidden in the back of the suit. And the light up feature is superb. Really bright and illuminates wonderfully depending on your lighting situation. Just brilliant. A+. For accessories, Ultraman has quite a bit of stuff. Not just the stuff he needs, but stuff that hasn't been included with many of the other Ultraman figures on the market, so that's pretty cool. First off is the Mezco stand with a picture of Ultraman on it. Pretty cool. Standard stuff. Looks nice. Here it is with the foot peg, and here it is with the Mezco arm. Next is his brother's mantle cape. The fabric they used for this looks really nice. I mean that. This pops really well. There is posable bendy wire in the cape as well for posing. Putting the cape on Ultraman is really easy. Just put it on him. No complicated installation process at all. And it looks great on him. Next is a faceplate where Ultraman is using the fluoroscope beam, which looks pretty cool. And the light up feature does work with this as well, FYI. It's easy to use. Just switch the faceplates. For the hands, he has 2 fist hands, 2 open hands, 2 calm relaxed hands, 2 sort of chopping, sort of gripping hands, 2 chopping hands, 1 right hand to hold the jet, and 1 left hand to hold what I believe is the Ultra Slash. Next is Jet Vital, and this is a very nice inclusion. I don't know if any Ultraman figures came with this, so it's really neat to get it included here, and Ultraman can hold it if you so wish. Next is the Ultra Slash, a very cool aqua transparent blue and a nice sculpt to it, and Ultraman can hold it. However, no stand to make it look like it got thrown, which sucks. Next is the Spacium beam, which did not need to look blue, but that's a nitpick. Just pop on the hand the beam is attached to. Next up is the Ultra Attack Ray, which looks pretty cool and awesome how we got this included. Not many Ultraman figures again come with this. And it's easy to use. Just put this around the arm and that's it. And when it's on, it looks pretty cool. However, just be wary of the costume. You don't want to damage it by accident when using this effect. Finally, 5 buildings of different sizes and all of them are unique, which is awesome. They are even painted to make the windows look like windows. That's really cool. And you might be wondering, what's up with the cracks? Well, that's because they are in separate pieces to make them look like they got destroyed in the process of whatever. They fit back together like pieces of a puzzle. Just follow the cracks and you can put them back together, no problem. So many kaiju figures don't include buildings, which is something to this day I don't get. So props to Mezco for including these. And these don't strictly have to be used with Ultraman. These can be used for other monster figures, which is awesome. So if you get this figure, go nuts with the buildings. They are a great addition to the package. I love the accessories for Ultraman. He comes with so much stuff, and some of these things have not been included with other Ultraman figures, such as the Jet and the Ultra Attack Ray. Pretty cool stuff. So accessories get a pass. Here's a size comparison with other figures you may or may not own. Ultraman is normally giant, but still technically a humanoid figure, so 1/12 scale is not inaccurate. Still, he scales fine with any human-sized figure or monster figure, sort of. As of now, no in-scale kaiju has been released for Ultraman, so he'll tower over the Figuarts Ultraman figures, which is not accurate. So until that day comes where they release other Ultra Kaiju, this will have to do for right now. So Ultraman turned out pretty good. Not perfect, but certainly can hold his own weight. If anything, it's the accessories and the suit look that really sell this. The light up feature certainly helps as well. It adds so much fun factor into the figure. Personally speaking, all that makes this a favorite for me. But that price, $120? No, that's too much. Should have been at least $100, and that's being generous. Realistically, it could have been $90. So if you want this figure, I recommend waiting for a sale unless you are a diehard fan of Ultraman and Mezco. Mezco figures are not for everyone, as I stated before. This figure is meant to be posed only for photos. And if you're not a fan of leaving figures in a vanilla pose on a shelf, then this figure is absolutely not for you. Those who appreciate the novelty can absolutely enjoy this figure. You just need to know what you're getting yourself into. And trust me, I know it's scary to handle the material without ripping or damaging anything, but when you learn how to pose and handle it, it's surprisingly a lot of fun. Great look, good articulation for what it's worth, and great amount of accessories. In conclusion, this figure is good, but not worth the MSRP, as I've stated with many figures before. That being said, Ultraman gets an 8.5 out of 10.